normal.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lefty Show. I think we're live. I'm not sure right now. We're going to have to check in a little bit. This has been a comedy of errors as of this point. Tweet me right now if we're live. Just need to make sure. Double check. Going to have to find a better way to double and triple check that kind of stuff. Being live, not, actually being live. So let's see. What does the public view show? It won't play. How does it play? Why won't it play? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. So we're live. Hi. I'm figuring out YouTube streaming is just a pain in the tuchus. Anyway, we are live here on the Lefty Show. Got a lot of things to talk about. There's a few different ways to interact with the show. Well, hold on. We'll do a proper intro. Everybody, welcome once again to the Lefty Show. This is episode numero dos on my channel here, youtube.com/LeftyOX. But you already knew that because you're watching the show. We are minus two people flying the ship solo right now. I am I'm piloting the ship. I am at the controls. I am also doing the navigating and doing the producing as of right now. We are minus Chiz, and we are also minus our producer, Katie. So we are left alone. You and me. I am left alone to pilot the ship and also entertain you. And I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know. We'll get through the propers really quick. There are a few different ways you can interact with the show. Number one is the chat you see on YouTube. Go ahead and leave a like, rating on the stream, and help get the word out there, get the name out there about the stream. You can also interact with the chat. They will be turned into comments like any old video on YouTube after the stream is over. And you can also tweet the show. As the thumbnail suggests, both on this video and during the breaks that we do, there is another way to interact with the show on Twitter. Just tweet, and at the beginning, middle, or end of your tweet, just add hashtag Lefty Show, pound Lefty Show, and that will get your tweet. That is a good way to get your tweet read on the air. And interact with the show. We're still working on an email of some kind and other ways to try to get on the show and to get people involved and interactive. The show is still very much in its infancy, and so we hope for the best. But there's a lot going on right now, and we'll cover why I'm alone right now. Number one, Katie, something came up at work, so Katie's got to go. Chiz. I texted Chiz earlier today, and right before I made the video I did, I was actually looking at the Sony Vegas screen when I decided to tweet I tweeted him and I texted him and I said, "Hey, bro, are we going to do the show today?" Because I know that he had an interview today with a company to get a nice swanky new job, and apparently it went really well. And I asked him, I'm like, "Hey, are you going to be available to do the show, or are you just going to go out and party? Because if it's not going to be you and it's just going to be me, I'll cancel it." Because missing one episode of a show that's just started isn't really that big of a deal. It's just not. I mean, it's not the end of the show. It wouldn't be the end of the idea of the show. It would just be, there's sometimes scheduling conflicts, and the show doesn't have that inertia of a huge podcast. Joe Rogan can't really miss a podcast because it makes him so much money and he's got so much invested in it. He just can't. But, in a show like this, when more than 2/3 of the talent, that's assuming everybody is equal. I consider myself kind of the most talented of the bunch, but you get the idea. When two of the three people that contribute to the show are gone, it's meh. It's just one of those things, right? It's meh. And so I asked him, like, "Are you going to be able to do the show?" And he said yes. He's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm totally down. All of a sudden, 5 minutes before we go to air, "Yeah, dude, can't do it." And I'm the kind of guy that might be the end of Chiz on the show. That might be, just because that's unacceptable to me. I'm not mad about it, but at the same time, it's just, you want to be a part of something. Behind the scenes, he wants to be a part of this. Okay. But up until the point, all of a sudden, it's just, nope. Sorry. What am I going to do? It's just it's not something that can be made a habit. And, I've got there's a short leash here. So, looking at the black screen, that might be the end of Chiz on this show. It's not going to deal with that. I will not. I refuse to go through the rigmarole, because I've done it before, and of just going through, relying on somebody or people that are just not committed, not driven, and just really not interested, and will look for any and every excuse. It's just, I'm not doing it. So that's where we stand now. Flying the ship solo. Might be a shortened show. Might only go, I don't know, half an hour maybe. I don't know. Depends on who gets in here. But just a reminder, if you want to tweet the show, #Lefty Show. I might do something. I don't know. I don't really want to go an hour. I don't think an hour is necessary. We may follow it up with a makeup show tomorrow. I think probably a half hour as of right now. If it's just going to be me, half hour is good. Just to talk and rap with you guys. Maybe we can have a few little fun little segments here and there. But yeah, for right now, we're looking at about half an hour, I guess, if it's just going to be me. You can tweet the show again, #Lefty Show. Let's see, could we do a Q&A? I'm thinking, could we do a Q&A? Oh yeah, we could do viewer calls. Could do that. Seeing that a lot of that on the Lefty Show. You see, the thing about inviting subs into the Hangout and to do that, it's a bit of a pain. But viewer calls could work. We'll see. But there's a lot going on. A lot going on this week. Oh man, there's a lot going on. First of all, the world didn't end. Who thought that did anybody honestly think that the world was going to end? Because for a long time back in, I know Penn and Teller, I was a big fan of the Penn and Teller show Bullshit on, I believe it was Showtime. Yeah, Showtime. The Penn and Teller show Bullshit on Showtime was a favorite of mine throughout its run. And early on, I think somewhere around, I don't remember the year they did it, they did a show about the end of the world. And they showed all these crazy people believing in the end of the world scenarios and going on about the end of the world. Oh, the world's going to end. The world's going to end. It's going to be over. There's Planet X. There's going to be a worldwide plague. And a lot of it was based around the Mayan calendar. And I think they actually did a few shows. I think one of them was Doomsday, just people that are so consumed with the idea of Doomsday that they're preparing for it and whatnot. And also the people that legitimately think the world's going to end, like the Mayan calendar people. And they even back then, this was probably anywhere between 5 and 8 years ago. Even then, they talked to experts on the Mayan culture, and they talked to astrologists talking about the Mayan calendar. Because even then, people say, "Oh well, hey, it ends in 2012. What are we going to do? What could happen?" And even then, back then, the Mayan people, the experts were saying the calendar doesn't end. It's just I forget the rationale for it. It was something along the lines of they were predicting the end or beginning of a solstice, I think. And the 21st of December in 2012 is the end or beginning of their definition of a solstice, I think. But regardless, there was a logical explanation. The point is, there was a logical explanation for why the world wasn't really going to end. It wasn't really going to come to an end, and it wasn't going to blow up or get hit by another planet. I know there was one guy talking about Planet X, etc. It wasn't going to happen. And so for a long time, I was like, in the lead up to 2012, people talking about the end of the world, this, that, and the other thing. I was just like, nah, not going to happen. It's not. It's crazy. it's been debunked. First of all, the whole idea that the calendar ends, and because it ends, they were predicting the end of the world. Which another thing is funny is that nobody questioned, or I saw very few people questioning outright the idea. It's like, well, wait a minute. The Mayans were supposed to be these mythical people, these geniuses that were completely unexplained how precise and accurate they were in the fields of astrology and predicting the movement of celestial objects and stuff like that. Nobody could really explain how they do that, much like the Egyptians. But nobody could still explain to me why the Mayans didn't overtly predict the end of the world. Because the end of the world thing kind of came from the idea, it's like, well, the Mayan calendar just ends. It just ends. And so that must mean the end of the world. It wasn't really an overt prediction by these people. And everybody, so many people, there was even a feature film. It was disaster porn. That was a perfect explanation for that film, was disaster porn with John Cusack, where it's just things blowing up. It's like Michael Bay whacking off. It's like his wet dream. And it was just so preposterous to me, the idea of the world ending. Not only, I mean, the planet itself, life being extinguished on the planet, that's feasible. And at some point it's going to happen. But the idea that some culture thousands of years ago predicted the abrupt and specific end of the world was just absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know, because we talked about this on PKA a little bit yesterday. I remember when I was a kid, or when I was growing up, there were a lot of people that predicted. There were a few different doomsdays throughout the 90s, and then a lot of people centered on Y2K. They focused on the year 2000. And a lot of the people, I saw a few different times stories about people selling, this wasn't made up stuff, selling their worldly possessions. And they sold everything they had. They sold all their land, their houses, their cars, emptied out their bank accounts, sold everything, got rid of it all, and went to go do whatever it is they had to prepare to do for the end of the world. And then it never happened. And then those people were screwed. And I'm wondering, did anything like that happen here? Did anything like that happen with the Mayan calendar thing? Were there people that were so invested in this crap that was the end of the world in 2012 as predicted by the Mayans? Was there anybody that was just so incredibly invested in it that they said, yes, this is going to happen. I'm going to sell all my crap. We're going to get rid of everything. We're going to get in the car. We're going to go wherever, and we're going to wait for the world to end. And then what happens when it doesn't? I feel bad for the kids of those crazy people. I feel bad for those psychos. Or for the kids of those psychos. Just because they're just kids. They just want Christmas presents. That's it. But mommy and daddy, psychos, probably took a little bit too much LSD back in the day, saying, world's going to end. Nope. Get out of here. And so they're done. But so the world didn't end. And so we're all here. We're all okay. Just like Y2K 12 years ago. Everybody was freaking out about that. All these systems are going to come to an end. Nobody's going to know what happened. Nobody's going to, planes are going to be falling out of the sky at midnight. None of that happened. So we all survived. And of course, there was I Fly Illini spanking it. Mr. Get a little, hey, how you doing? Here it is. You want to see it? Take a look. Bucket of chicken. I Fly Illini got busted on a site called Chatterbait, for those of you that don't know. Is it Chatterbait or Chatyourbait? Chatterbait? Chatyourbait. Chatterbait, Chatyourbait. Tomato, potato. But anyway, it's a live streaming amateur porn site, and he got busted as a performer there. I don't know if they call each other performers, but I mean, he was on there. He was on his webcam spanking it. But here's one thing I wanted to point out. For those of you that are, I know probably everybody's very intimately familiar, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time rehashing the details. It wasn't a gay website. It's not a gay website. There are probably gay people on it, whether they be male homosexuals or female homosexuals. There are probably gay people on it looking at their same sex, do whatever it is they do on there. Well, I mean, of course, we have an idea of what they do. But it's not a standalone, it's not a gay site. It's not specifically dedicated to dudes spanking it to other dudes spanking it. It's a pornography website. It's a cornucopia of porn, if you will. They got plenty to choose from. They got it all. You want it, you can find it at Chatterbait, at least in terms of live performances. So that's one thing I've seen a lot of people talking about is they go nuts at iFly, talking about how he's gay, he's a fag, homosexual, whatever, and they're really harping on the guy for it. But the thing they don't understand is that it's not a gay website. And the other thing that really irks me about that is that there's so much, and this is something I've hated. I mean, you guys know how I am. I mean, I don't like stupidity, but I respect people's right to say stupid things. I don't like it, but I respect it. And to a certain extent, I would fight to protect it. I don't like it, I respect it, I'd fight to protect it. That's a rap line. I'm going to write that down. Fight to protect it. Got it. Okay. Respect it, fight it to protect it. That's a good line. I'm putting that, it's going in my rhyme book. But while I don't like some of the things that people say in exercising their free speech, I respect their right to have that speech. So with all of the latent homophobia that we've seen from this community, never mind, I mean, Hutch made a great point. Hutch talked about this. He did a video about it. And he made a great point when he said, everybody jerks it, man. Everybody gets on the website. Everybody, all of us pretty much here have computers or mobile devices that act as computers. We all, at some point or another, most of us at least, probably 99%, go on a website for the express purposes of pleasuring ourselves. That happens. Everybody does it. iFly isn't special, at least in that regard. Now, he's special in that he got on a camera on a website and was like, hey, look at me, and he's doing this little weird thing, whatever the fuck that is. But just in terms of, oh, yeah, dude, you're whacking it, dude. You whack it too? I whack it? What the hell do you think's going to happen after this damn show? Why do you think I'm kind of happy that Chiz couldn't join the show and I have to shorten it? We only got about, I don't know. If I'm going to stick to the 30-minute rule, we only got about 10 minutes left. But the homophobia that I see, so all that aside, all that, everybody spanks it, the homophobia that I've seen from so many people that just seem so utterly offended, and not offended in terms of the sensibilities, but the idea of I think you are gay, therefore I am going to criticize you mercilessly and say the most horrific, horrendous things that I can. Heinous things. I'm going to say that because you are gay and I don't like, or because I think you're gay and I don't like you. That, I classify that as homophobia. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not homophobia. I don't know, but I classify it as that. And I don't like that. I hate that. I respect it. You have every right to be homophobic if you want. Just like in this country, you have the right to be racist. But if you're racist or if you're homophobic, I'm going to call you stupid. Because racism and homophobia are stupid, backwards ways to think about people. They're antiquated and they're just dumb. And to say you're a fag and you're queer, hate you because you're queer, it's stupid and it's dumb. And if you're one of those people, then you're an awful, awful, awful person. You are. You're awful. You have the right to be that awful. You have the right to be an awful human being like that. And I will respect and fight to some extent to preserve your right to be that awful person. But you're still an awful son of a bitch if that's how you are. If you're the kind of person that would do that. Now, this isn't defending iFly. I still think he's a sanctimonious assbag. And he is. Sanctimonious prick. iFly is. But to mercilessly and without even a sign of hinting up to go after him and to say the awful things that you do about him and to just be so homophobic. Again, I classify that as homophobia. Maybe it isn't. It's acceptable because it is free speech, but it's stupid and it's backwards and you're an awful person if you do that. That's the way it is. Maybe you can make peace with that. Maybe you can't. But if you, again, reiterate, I'll protect it. Protect your right to do that. Protect your right to feel that way. But you're still an awful son of a bitch. And it goes, and somebody tweeted me too, to hashtag Lefty Show as we close out the show. Maybe we'll do a little Q&A. Get your Q&A questions in. Hashtag Lefty Show on Twitter. Tweet at me. You don't have to mention me specifically. You can follow me at Lefty643, but you don't have to mention me specifically. You can just save the characters there, type out your question, and add on hashtag Lefty Show or preface it with hashtag Lefty Show. Get your Q&A questions in. We'll answer a few questions until the bottom of the hour. Maybe we'll go to the next quarter of the hour. After the bottom, we'll go to the next quarter of the hour. So 8:45 Central Standard Time, we'll cut it off. Well, depending on how many questions. Get them in. Hashtag Lefty Show on Twitter. Somebody tweeted me about the Westboro Baptist Church. And this is an issue that I really wish I had somebody to play off of to pronounce these ideas. But the Westboro Baptist Church and all the thing that went on with Cosmo the God and all that stuff. Funny, very entertaining. Oh God, what's her name? What's that stupid Hicks name? The Westboro God hates fags. She's the focal point of that whole group of crazies. What's her name? Shirley. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's got one of those stupid hyphenated names. It's like Shirley Robespierre something. And I got hyphens in my name. Seriously, ladies. Okay. I don't know if there's many ladies out here. So guys, if you see a lady that's thinking about doing this, don't do the hyphenated name thing. Pick one. Either marry the guy and don't take his name or do take his name. I'm not calling you, oh gosh, Rogers Cromartie. Antonio Rogers Cromartie, right? Is that, oh God. I think it's Antonio Rogers Cromartie or something like that in the NFL. He's a player in the NFL. But I know his last name is Rogers-Cromartie. I'm not calling you, I'll call you Rogers, or I'll call you Cromartie. But I'm not calling you Rogers Cromartie. Pick one. You get one. You get one last name. Pick it. No hyphens under that dash crap. Get it out of here. One name, one last name. Not two, not three like this crazy-ass bitch, whatever her name is. She got her Twitter account got hacked, all that stuff. And they're just a group of psychos. I mean, that's all it is. They're just a bunch of idiots. It's hard not to, because they go so over the top with it, it's hard to absolutely destroy them without coming off as somebody, at least for me, without coming off as though you're trying to destroy their concept of God and attacking God. And I've found in this community that there's a lot of people that just really aren't ready to have that discussion or even that thought implanted in their brain when it comes to the GOD. And that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I find it personally hard to walk that line between attacking the Westboro Baptist Church, would they deserve to be attacked for their psychotic, backwards, asinine beliefs, and also not sounding as though I'm attacking God or a concept of God or Jesus or however their deity of choice. But they're a group of psychos. The one thing I don't like, and this will probably have to be saved for a conversation, the one thing I don't like is the hate speech thing. For those of you that don't know, the White House, there was a petition on the White House, whitehouse.gov, somewhere on whitehouse.gov, I think. Not whitehouse.com. Don't go there. No. No whitehouse.com. I learned that in grade school. And I also learned that my grade school didn't have a firewall and protections on their computers about where you can and can't go on the internet. So I was writing a legitimate paper about the White House. I was like, oh, whitehouse.com. Oh, yeah. It's picture an early version of Chatterbait. Remember porn sites back in the day? God, the pictures took so damn long to load because there was just, the files didn't really get much bigger in terms of pictures, from then until now, but the connection, this connection speed was just awful. So you just be looking at porn, just be like, oh yeah, there's a titty, yeah, all right, titty. Oh, there's the second titty, because if she was at an angle, you wouldn't get both boobs at the same time. You'd get one and then the other, and then you just had to hope that they didn't look weird. But anyway, whitehouse.gov, there's a petition to classify the Westboro Baptist Church as a hate group, and because of that, there's a few different things that they can do. They wouldn't be allowed to peaceably assemble, because classified as a hate group, technically, I guess hate groups cannot peaceably assemble under the Constitution. I don't know if there's any substantive case law on that. That's what I was told. And of course, there's also they won't get the tax breaks of being a church, or the tax break of being a church, which I'm fine with, but I'm fine. I'm a big proponent of the idea. Don't give any church tax breaks. No. You don't get free crap just because you're a church, just because you worship somebody in the sky. You don't get that. No. Pay your damn taxes. You got prime real estate in an up-and-coming neighborhood or in a sprawling suburbanite setting. You got prime real estate, and you've got, we can't pay the real estate taxes. Guess what? Move your damn church. Sell the land. Get out. Go worship. Does God care where you worship him from? Does it have to be on the really nice plot of land, landscaped with all the expensive flowers and trees and stuff? No, it doesn't. Charge them real estate tax or GTFO. But I'm a little bit hesitant about the whole hate thing, the whole hate, because classifying hate speech, I have a huge problem with that, because when you start getting into the nitty-gritty, when you start going micromanaging the ability for people to exercise their rights and say, well, you can be offensive under the First Amendment, but you can't be this offensive. When you start conditioned rights are just a matter of fact in the way our government works. But when you start conditioning, making the rights predicated on conditions to that extent, I think that's way too much. I think the whole idea of hate crimes, hate speech, hate groups, I think it's crap. I think it's mamby-pamby. I think it's feel-good crap that really won't serve any other purpose than making white people feel okay for a little bit, than making uppity white people feel okay for a little bit, not feel guilty about being white. I see that whole hate. How about just not be racist? How about we instead of trying to say, well, you can't be a hateful racist, how about we just educate the children, our children, and through educational practices, just really show them that there's no reason to hate somebody because of the color of their skin, and that it's stupid and it's backwards. Don't criminalize saying awful things. How about attack the root cause of those awful of those awful sayings and those awful thoughts? And also, because when you start criminalizing hate, when you start saying, oh, well, that's a hate crime, or that's hate speech, and that's not protected, or that's a hate group, and so they're not protected. When you start doing that, at some point, I mean, it's not unlikely to think that hateful thoughts are somewhere down that road. I don't know where they are from let's say A is where we're at now, and Point B is the criminalizing of hateful thoughts. I don't know the distance between those two, but it's on this damn path. When you start criminalizing and revoking protections of hateful things, hateful thoughts, criminalizing hateful thoughts is definitely on that path. Definitely on that path. And you know what? You don't have a right to not be offended in this country. And that's something else. Those idiots, those crazies, those psychos, those backwards-ass hillbillies in the Westboro Baptist Church, as much as you hate them, and as rightfully as you should hate them for their just backwards beliefs and just all the crazy crap that they do to inflict pain upon people to further their own political and religious ideologies, as much as you should hate them for that, they're exercising their rights. And as much as you don't like how they exercise their rights, they're doing it. And they are rights that we are all granted. And as much as it sucks, as much as it sucks that they are exploiting their rights to further the emotional distress of people, and as wrong as as despicable as that is, it's still a right. And I don't see it as necessarily a strict perversion of that right. And so, you know, if you want to say they should be banned from doing this, going here, protesting here, saying this, saying that, that starts you on a path that doesn't end well. Yeah, you feel good now when the Westboro Baptist Church is not allowed to protest at funerals of dead soldiers, which is awful. I cannot stress enough how awful that is. Sure, yeah, it makes you feel good now, but what happens when maybe you want to protest a war? Maybe you want to protest something the government is doing or something somebody else is doing. What happens when the government comes to you and says, no, you don't have that right anymore. You can't do it because what you're saying is offending somebody else. There's no, as much as it sucks that people exploit their protected freedoms to be jagbags, you don't have an unalienable right to not be offended in this country. You just don't. As offensive as it is that those assholes go and protest dead soldiers' funerals and say those awful things to the parents of those dead soldiers and if they do it to those dead kids. As bad as it is, and as offensive as it is, you don't have an explicit right to not be offended. You just don't. I'm not defending what they do, but let's face facts here. That's either speech is protected in that sense. Either offensive speech is protected because it's the thought of a world where any subjectively offensive speech isn't protected, isn't worth thinking about, or just start saying, no, if you offend anybody, you can't say nothing. So I think it starts us on a dangerous path. But anyway, we got the questions here. Closing out the Lefty Show. We got about 10 minutes of questions until we close out this abbreviated version of the Lefty Show. Maybe we'll do a makeup show tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure. This just I can't. Because this is my thing. The Lefty Show. It's mine. I own it. It's my deal. And when somebody comes to you and says, yeah, I want to be a part of this, regardless of whether they're your friend, when they start dicking around with the thing that you own, they may be your friend. Maybe they're nice people. When they start dicking around with the thing that you own and the thing that you drive for and the thing that you are producing and trying to create and try to make special, when they start dicking around with that, I have little sympathy and little patience for that. So I don't know if Chiz is going to be part of this show anymore. Maybe not. I don't know. Just this whole thing, it's just not cool. But get your questions in. We got about 10 minutes left in the Lefty Show. I see a lot of music questions. Is that it? Oops. Is that it where we're at now? Are we going to like, oh, hey, I kind of like this girl, so let's make small talk about, hey, what kind of music do you like? What do you do on a Friday night? What do you think about the color green? Let's get some meat and potatoes questions going here. Let's close it out with a bang. Hashtag Lefty Show on Twitter. Also, be sure to leave a like on the video here. Here's a good question from I'm Santa Bitch on Twitter. I love it. I'm Santa Bitch. He asks, how has the recent publicity been? It's been good. I talked about the blowback from iFly fanboys. Nothing you can do about it. Really nothing. But the growth of subscribers and the continued growth is it's been nice. It's been fun to see a lot of new people interacting with me on Twitter about my videos, interacting in the videos themselves, talking about this, that, or the other thing. It's great to see a large influx of people to hopefully enjoy what I do. The sweet gamer. So how about them Mets? They're gonna suck probably for a while. Here's from Ryan Walton. I recently got a starting gaming PC. What games should I get game-wise? Can you get games word processing-wise? Or internet browser-wise? I don't know. Starting out games, I don't know. It depends on your budget. Depends what you like. I can't tell you what you like. If you like shooters, if your PC can run it, Battlefield 3 is amazing. Far Cry 3. Oh, Far Cry 3 is awesome. I've been playing it a lot. It's been a ton of fun. If you like, it was billed by Machinima as Skyrim with guns. Now, I've never played Skyrim, but I've seen people play it. And it's not as it's an open world with guns. And an open world first person shooter with guns, with RPG elements. It's a lot of fun and it's colorful. Oh, it's an awesome game. You'll love it. So that's something you can sink your teeth into. But other than that, if you're on a less of a budget, Steam's got a sale going on right now. A lot of games on sale. Hitman Absolution, I think, is like $25. You can find a bunch of other games for a couple bucks. It's really good. So if you got any money left over, head on over to Steam. They've got a Steam sale going somewhere, on Steam. That's where it's going. It's going on Steam, but I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know how long those things last. Question from Mike PL. This is something I get a lot, and so hopefully for right now it'll stop a lot of people from asking it. He asks, are you thinking of a big career on YouTube, or is it just a hobby? I'm not somebody that goes into something like this half-heartedly. I am going for the gusto. I'm going for whatever. I'm going for the big prize. I'm going for as large as I can conceivably be on YouTube. That's what I wish to attain. There are some things that I will and will not do to achieve those ends, and I am even willing to achieve less than that if it means less hassle, less heartache, less headaches, whatever. But for right now, the goal is to be as big as possible. How big is that? I have no idea. None. No clue. I dream of a day when the Lefty Show has 10,000 plus live viewers. I think that would be a good place to be. I think that would be an awesome place to be. Maybe more. 10,000 plus. I think that would be, if I was there, whatever, anything else beyond that is gravy. Everything else beyond that is extra icing on the awesome cake. So I think that's what I'm going for in terms of the Lefty Show, in terms of in terms of my channel growth as a whole. Excuse me. Yes, quote from or a question from Jetty. Do you think PKA has helped you grow? Yes, undoubtedly, unquestionably. There's so many people that have helped me out and are helping me out, and just being so great. I'll close it out with this one. I just saw a question from Gibbs, and I think looking at my watch, yep, it's going to be go time pretty soon. Ending of the Lefty Show, this abrupt version of the Lefty Show. PKA has undoubtedly been an amazing help. Wings has been so great to me even before he brought me into PKA, and then to push for me to kind of be weaseled into, I guess for lack of a better term, weaseled into that spot in the PKA booth. Big thanks to him. Big thanks to Woody for agreeing to it, and Kyle again agreeing to it, and all those guys for welcoming me and just being great about it. And again, Woody for all the help, and Wings specifically. It has been great. It has been a great run, and PKA is a pretty significant portion, or is responsible for a significant portion of my subscriber growth. And if we're talking about that, I have to, again, the PTFO guys too. I know a lot of people try to make them, fighting and drama and all that stuff. The PTFO guys have been amazing as well. Minnesota Burns, one of my besties on YouTube. He's an amazing guy. Chaos Silencer, or Jimmy, as you guys know him, he's awesome too. And he's been like, yeah, you'll be our alternate on the show because Kyle's got stuff to do. Kyle again has been very welcoming to me as part of their thing, what they're doing, and so I try to tread lightly over there because that's their thing. They own it, and it's pretty damn successful. So big thanks to those guys and everybody that's helped me out. But to end out the show, to end out this abbreviated version of the Lefty Show, I saw this was really perfect, and especially because Woody did a video, and he killed me in it, you bastard. I'm going to do one now. This is from Gibbs2470. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Woody, Wings, and Kyle. Fornicate, marry, murder. FMM. Let's see. Woody, Wings, and Kyle. I don't know. Kyle's dashingly handsome. I think we all know that. Well, never mind. I was going to make a joke about FPS Russia, but I think that might be bursting the bubble for a lot of you. I'm going to have to say I'm going to marry Wings, because Wings is just an awesome, devoted guy. And if you're on his good side, you're the best. You're besties. It's a great place to be on the same page as Wings. So I'd say I'd have to marry Wings of Redemption. Ooh, I think I'd have to fuck Woody. I would. He was a lifeguard. He swims. He's an MMA fighter. He's got that swag. What did I just say? Swag? Why did I hate swag. Stop saying swag. I don't know why I said it, but stop it. Do as I say, not as I do. And I probably have to kill Kyle at that point because he's the only one left over. So I'm sorry, Kyle, if you're watching this thing that you'll probably never ever see. I have to kill you. So yeah, marry Wings, fornicate with Woody or fuck Woody, and I'll have to kill Kyle because I don't know. He's got guns. That'd be an epic battle. Because if it was preordained that I would win that battle, I would love to see the battle between Kyle and myself that I end up winning. Because if it was preordained that no matter what you do when you fight this guy, when you engage in this battle, you will emerge victorious. I would love to, because he's got so many damn guns and stuff. Oh man, we could film it and I'd make all the YouTube money. That'd be like a 5 million view video, easy. 5 million views, easy. But anyway, guys, that's my time. We're going to call it an end to the Lefty Show here. Thank you to Chiz for being an unreliable douchebag. Thin ice as it is right now, and I'm serious when I say that, and I hope he sees this. It's not something to be fucking around with, especially when you came to me. Thank you to everybody for joining. Everybody, I apologize for the abbreviated session. It's It's hard to carry a show solo. I think I've done a good job for the last 45 minutes, no breaks. Doing a good job, no producer, no nothing. Just me running the show, running the boards, running everything. I think we've done a good job with this abbreviated Lefty Show. So thank you all for joining. There may be a makeup show tomorrow. I don't know. We'll have to discuss that. I'll have to discuss it with Chiz and make sure that he's really on board for this thing that I have going on here, that I'm trying to create, that I'm trying to propagate, and just have to make sure that he's on the same page. Because if he's not, then we're gonna have to retool, find somebody different. But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy it. Well, not on this video, on this podcast, but it will be turned into a video. You can follow me at Lefty643. Again, hashtag Lefty Show is how you interact with us when we are on the air. Be sure to remember that. At Lefty643 on Twitter, or just twitter.com/Lefty643. Don't follow Chiz because he's an unreliable douchebag. Also, youtube.com/LeftyOX. If this is your first time here and you like what you see, you like what you see, you like what you hear, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I hope there will be plenty more for you guys to enjoy. But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out.